Good evening. Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the back end of May 10th. It is now 11:46 p.m. Pacific. Just one of my favorite drinks. I drink so much of this all day. It's just bubbly water with lemon, slice of lemon, not squeezed, just placed in. I find it has a much different flavor than actually squeezing the lemon. We have a Meyer lemon tree in our backyard, and I have more lemons than I know what to do with. And I love seltzer, and I love seltzer with that lemon. So it's a great, refreshing drink. I think I mostly drink coffee and seltzer with lemon. It's pretty much predominantly what I drink. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into how we're burning today. So first, just want to mention a couple things on the front end. Books. Part of elevating my game is I am choosing to read more books. I'm not much of a book reader. I read a lot during the day. I'm always reading at work, but it's articles, it's emails, it's not books. And so I picked up a few books. Of course, I'm going to the library because that's just such a wealth of knowledge and it's so cost effective. So one book that I'm really getting into is this one, Confessions of a Venture Capitalist. Let me get that glare out of there. Ruth Ann Quindlen. Really kind of a cool book, written in 2000. So some really interesting components there around the internet. Reading about Netscape and Excite and some of these companies that no longer exist. But Yahoo's in there, AOL, things like that. So that's a really cool book. And then iCore is starting soon. I'm so excited. We have our kickoff webinar on the 23rd. And so we've gotten our first assignments, and so we got a couple books to read. So one is called Talking to Humans, which looks pretty cool. It's a really short read. Looks pretty awesome. And then the other is Business Model Generation. So I'm really excited to get into these books and get my learn on. And then another really exciting thing is that so I've been playing this tech transfer game at the lab where I work. And so pretty much this is like part of my going around talking to people, saying out loud what I'm up to, and seeing whose ears perk up. And so I'm developing a reputation for I'm the guy that's running around doing this. And so I get all kinds of emails. And so I recently got connected with someone that went to the tech transfer office with some ideas. And so he and I are now talking about these ideas, and it looks like there could be some traction. I know it's early. And this is actually something that is, I don't want to say a mistake I make, but it's certainly something that I can get in trouble with. Is I get excited about these ideas, and I only really see the upside to the ideas. And so one of the things I'm doing to counteract that is I have a business partner, and she and I think we are very complementary. We come from two different technology backgrounds, and she brings a lot to the team that I don't bring, and I think vice versa. And it's very exciting to work with her. And so having her as part of this team, I think, is really going to help me, get that other kind of side of the deal and see it. That makes sense, right? So if I'm seeing the upside, hopefully she can ask some good questions and see maybe the downside, see some more of the risks. But with my self-awareness and the fact that I realize this about myself, I do temper my excitement, and I am now looking more for the risk, and I am looking more for the downside of the idea. So, however, still, there needs to be a level of optimism to keep pushing this thing forward, because there's just a lot of due diligence to do, but it's very exciting. And so setting up a bunch of meetings to talk with some people to lower the risk, blah, 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 blah. And this led me to tonight's topic, which is, this concept of everything is a test. How am I being tested? How do I test others? And this is the context of when I meet new people, as I grow my network, as I'm looking for folks to work with. And we're on the front end of the relationship, and how do I qualify this person? As in, do I want to work with them? And so, and the way I see it, with every meeting, with every communication, with every voicemail, with every text message, with every touch, I'm being tested by that person. I'm being sized up as to whether or not he or she wants to work with me. And at the same time, I am also testing that person for the same exact reasons. And just like with this idea, as I search for these technology transfer opportunities, I intentionally reach out to find more resources to ensure success and lower the risk. All right, the more opinions I can get, the more, obviously there's some upper bound to it, but just reaching out to several people to get many different perspectives, to ask questions I wouldn't ask. And as I do this, as I grow my network, I am looking for these synergies in work style, work ethic, in behavior. I'm searching for complementary skill sets and alignment of spirit, right? Entrepreneurial spirit, engineering spirit, just spirit to get into the work and to do what it takes to get things done, to get into the trenches and do the heavy lifting, as they say, or as my man Gary Vee says, the dirt, right? You got the clouds. I love this. There's clouds and his dirt. The clouds, the big vision. We need to have the big vision, the optimism, the drive, that main goal. But then you also got to get down the dirt and get the hands dirty and do the real work. And the way I see it, the person on the other end should be doing the same thing to me. And I'll relate one example. When I was living in Florida and we were looking at some tech, actually we had a company, we had a startup, and we were trying to commercialize some insulation technologies. There was a very important gentleman on the team who, he really just did a lot of talking and not a lot of working. And I started to realize this, and it really caused a lot of concern. And at the end of the day, the deal didn't work out. It fell apart. And I just noticed that, we can't just talk about things. We have to actually roll up our sleeves and do some real work. And so here, let's get into some details about this. Everything's a test topic here. So on the very front end of this kind of growing the network, right? So the first step is some kind of introduction or some kind of initial meeting that has to happen, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a webinar, whether it's an in-person coffee. And one of the things I love saying about coffee is I always love a coffee. Oh, I'm definitely addicted to coffee. I love my coffee. And when I'm setting up this first meeting or they're setting up, I always kind of watch how many touches does it take to set up the first meeting. How accommodating is the person? How accommodating am I? How, can we do this in 3 touches, 2 touches, or does it take 6? Right? And I know I've had that experience where I reach out to someone to schedule a meeting and they just give very terse, short, not very helpful responses. Like, hey, or what I'll do is I'll say, hey, I'd love to get let's say today's Thursday, right? So, hey, I'd love to get together with you next week. Why don't you throw out a couple dates and times that work for you, and I'll pick one that's best for my schedule. It's amazing how I'll send that out and how many people do not follow that. Because you figure if they follow that, then it would take 3 touches to schedule a meeting, right? They throw out a few dates, I choose one, boom, we're done. And it's amazing how most of the time when I'll get back one date and time. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's just interesting how I try to set us up for success and it's usually, it doesn't work. But anyway, so how many touches does it take to set up the first meeting? How much explanation does it take to have this meeting? Does the person need a 20-page story as to why I want to meet with them, or is a one-liner enough? Hey, I'd like to talk to you about this possible idea for tech transfer. Or, hey, I'd like to get your feedback on this idea. Or, I understand that you have a company. I'd like to learn more about your company and how you built it. And I've had varying degrees of requirements as far as how much information. I've met with CEOs that one sentence was fine. Hey, I'd like to learn more about how you did what you did. I'd love to talk to you. Plenty. Other people, they want to see papers. They want to have, they want to know all these details. And not that one is good or bad. It's just noticing. It's awareness of the situation and what. And the reason why this is so important is it's like, well, what's to come, right? If this relationship moves forward and this is the behavior now and we really haven't done anything yet, imagine if we get into something, what's that going to look like? So that's why it can be a little scary. Is this person really high maintenance? Does this person always need a lot of explanation? But that can be a good thing. I mean, maybe they're just really busy and they really need to have a good reason to meet and they just need to find that good reason. So it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just something to note for later. And then another big thing for me is the person on time. That's huge for me. And not that they can't be late, but if they're late, is the first thing out of their mouth, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Do they acknowledge that they're late? This can be an indication for future things. So the second point is does this person have patience to listen and comprehend what's going on? If I'm bringing an idea to them and it's my job to explain, are they going to sit there and listen? Am I going to get their full attention? Am I going to be given the time to get into enough details? Are they going to ask pointed questions? Are they going to active listen so I know that they're paying attention? Are they going to be looking at their phone every 2 minutes? Are they going to be looking around the room, or are they going to be looking at me? All these little details, very important. So these are these little tests that I know that I do, and I'm sure others do on me. And then, okay, so now we've had our meeting. Maybe there's a synergy. Let's say that there's a synergy or a semi-synergy. And now, is there alignment now for organization, planning, and execution, right? These are things I've talked about before and how critical they are. So we've talked. It seems like we want to take the next step together. Does this person appreciate the need to do a little bit of organization planning and then execute? In other words, will there be a follow-up? How will that be arranged? As we get further down the road. So let's say now we're going to have a few meetings, and let's say we're going to bring in some other people. So the stakes are higher, right? There are more folks in the room. We should be getting more and more focused and more intentional with our actions and deliverables. At some point, we should really start having agendas for these meetings and really understanding why are we getting together to talk. It makes sense that the first meeting can be kind of abstract and vague, but as we get to like meeting 2 and 3 and 4, we should really be converging on, this is specifically what we're talking about. Before the next meeting, we need to find out A, B, C, D, and E. I'm going to do A, C, and E, and you're going to do the other ones. And so, and then we got to bring in a third party to help us with this thing that we really don't know about yet. Is it really intentional at that point? And I find that if there are more meetings being scheduled and there's not this intention, then that is a big red flag, because it's like, well, then what are we doing? It seems like we're just wasting each other's time. And then also one other thing I'll mention, and this drives me crazy with people, especially as you get further down the road and the stakes are higher and there are actions and things. Do people come prepared for a meeting? Do people come with a pen and paper to write things down? I'm amazed at folks that show up to engineering meetings where I work, where we'll go through details we'll switch topics, we'll switch systems, it's incredible how in a short amount of time, in 20 to 30 minutes, how we can go through so much. And all these actions are falling out. All these things are dropping, and no one is writing things down. And I don't know how people do it. And what I've noticed is I'm one of the few people that write. I have to write everything down. I've got a really good memory on some things, but on other things not so much. And so I just write it down. And for me, what works well for me is that writing activity gets it in my brain. I see it, I say it, I write it. It gets in my brain. And also, I think I'm a very visual person, so I see my handwriting, and I can remember what that looks like. And I usually draw little pictures, and I'll circle things, and I'll put asterisks next to things that are important, and actions, and people that I need to contact, or company names, or things I need to remember. I'll circle, and And it's just incredible how I'll notice people don't write things down, and then I kind of mentally note that, and then I'll see a couple of weeks will happen, and then I'll notice that those things don't get done, and I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder, maybe it's because you didn't write it down, and it's just amazing. Anyway, and so that's one of the things, the specific things that I use to test people, and you know, this is done all the time, and so just know that next time you go to meet somebody, you're probably being tested. And I would strongly recommend that when you're meeting people and you're growing your network and you're looking for exciting opportunities, you should be testing them too. For every job interview, I'm also interviewing the employer as much as they're interviewing me. Do I want to work for them? Not just will they hire me? So anyway, we just hit 12:01 in the AM, so it's officially the 11th. It's Friday. So we are going to blow out the candle on this end of the day. So please subscribe to my channel, comment down below, ask questions, ask for help in what you're doing. Maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can connect you with someone, a company, a person, an idea. I'd love to do that. I want to be of service. That's kind of the whole point of this thing, is that we're looking at my journey. We're going over things that are working for me, but I'd love to help you as well. And I think that's actually more important in a way, because I'm doing my thing regardless, and if I can help you, then that's just fantastic. If you dig the beats in the background, that's my alter ego, G Money. Have a look at there's a link down below. You can check out some of the beats that I've written. That's my creative side, the things I've been drumming for quite some time. And let's see, I have my cheat sheet here. What else should I mention? Oh yeah, and there are lots of links down below of some motivational videos. Once again, a shout out to Gary V. I was listening today to your interview with Tim Ferriss from a year ago or so. Awesome interview. Really dug it. And yeah, just really love the inspiration. So thanks a lot, Gary. Thanks a lot, Tim. I appreciate it. Like, I know you on a first name basis, but I might as well act like it. And that's it. So you all have a great night, and we'll talk soon.